Hey, everybody, and welcome to the High Ground Podcast, where we search in our personal and professional lives to find our daily high ground.
Welcome back to another episode of the High Ground Podcast. On today's episode, we want to go over archery setup. So, talk a little bit about arrow selection, your bow selection, how to get that all set up, release style, and then we wanted to share a little bit about our favorite hunting story. So I'm pretty new at this whole archery thing. I don't know a lot of technicalities, but I wanted to ask, um, Skeeter, you this year helped me out with arrow selection. What is your go-to arrow?
My go-to arrow right now is the Easton Axis. It's it's definitely a light arrow. It moves pretty quick, and I really was kind of debating going from the Axis to the Easton FMJ. And just through research and kind of talking to other people who shoot the FMJ, I was kind of pushed towards sticking with the Easton Axis just because it's a lighter arrow, and I was told that people that shoot the FMJ say it's a great arrow, but it's kind of heavy, and if you hit anything, it can get a warp in it and create a bend, so it doesn't stay as true as the Easton Axis does. So I didn't want to go against what I already knew and what I was comfortable with to switch to a new arrow at that time, because at that time it was late July, early August, and I was like, I don't want to try to mess with a new arrow. I just want to stick to what I'm used to, and that's the Easton Axis, and I love that arrow. It's awesome. It's phenomenal.
Sweet. Yeah, because right now I'm actually shooting the FMJs.
Are you?
So I shot the old school, the first series FMJs. They were my dad's old arrows. Loved them. So when I went to Shields,
Mhm.
I looked at the Axis and I looked at the FMJs, but I kind of stuck with the FMJs because I didn't want to really switch too much because this was also end of July. So I didn't want to switch a lot. I just needed a couple of new arrows. So stuck with those. But this year I think I'm gonna do a little trial and error
Yeah.
with some arrow selections and arrow setups. Is there anything else you do to your arrows after you get them cut and to your length? Do you add
Well,
anything?
I'll show you.
Okay.
I actually have the arrow I shot my whitetail with. But I always go with my own custom arrow wrap. It depends on the color. Usually what I'll do is I'll let my daughter pick my colors for my wrap and my fletchings, just because she usually picks pink or purple or whatever, and it really kind of, when I'm in the woods, it gives me another reminder. Like when I look at my arrows, I think of my daughter. And another reason I shoot Easton is because my son's name is Easton, and every time I look at it, I think of my son.
I love it.
It's kind of a little custom thing that I do, but I go with an arrow wrap, custom fletchings, and I'm moving towards now. This will be my third year hunting with lighted nocks, as long as your state allows it. Obviously, you got to check your local regulations, but yeah, shooting a lighted nock, super awesome. I love it. As far as
Game changer.
arrow recovery, trajectory, I mean, on the video that we got this September, we were able to see that arrow path pretty clearly, and I don't know if we would have been able to see it as clear if you weren't shooting a lighted nock, Taylor. So
Yeah,
that's fair.
lighted nocks are definitely one of those things. Once you go, you don't go back. But
and
you
there's
guys
lots of them on the market too. There's not, I know there's some pretty
Sure.
expensive ones, but these ones aren't super expensive, and they're pretty easy to turn off after you shoot.
I think the most important thing is with arrow setup. And first off, you guys both bring up a good point when you talk about time frame and getting into summer, not wanting to change too much up, which is kind of why we want to talk about setup this time of year, because now is the time you can kind of play with your setup, adjust things, and have time to really practice through the summer without changing anything and getting into your hunting setup. But I think the biggest thing with arrow setup is, no matter what you're shooting or how you're going to set it up, finding what's going to work for you for consistency. I take all my arrows, I spin my broadheads on. So I have an arrow spinner, and I spin it for balance to make sure there's not wobbles on any of them as I turn my broadheads on. And then if I find a wobble in one, I try to back the broadhead out a click on the thread. So I go opposite thread, thread it back on, and see if that takes care of the balance. And then I'll get, as I start shooting my arrows, if when I get into my broadheads or whatever, or even just my field tips as I'm shooting my arrows, if I'm noticing arrows that fly wonky here or there, I'll mark them with a marker, and I'll get groups that shoot similar. And then, try to get a good dozen that shoot pretty consistent altogether. And that's what I hunt with for the year. Um, but I think, there can be variances in tolerances or the amount of glue that was used for fletchings or any little thing, if you've sharpened your broadheads a little bit lighter on one broadhead than the other, just that can make these minuscule differences that'll show up as you start shooting groups preseason, and then you kind of weed those out. But personally, I shoot a Victory VAP SS. Um, I shoot the super small diameter arrows, heavy weight forward to center. When we talk forward weight and forward to center with arrows in the archery world, for those of you who don't know, it's essentially the balance point, center of the arrow. If you have more weight forward to that, typically is what you're looking for towards energy on the target, delivering energy on the target. Obviously, there's balance there, and there's a lot more math that people who are far smarter than I have dug far deeper into. But yeah, I use, a Victory VAP SS, and I've been on Magnus broadheads, Magnus Stinger broadheads for quite a while now. I find the combo penetrates extremely well. I've gone through bone with them. I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but I've had great success with them, and that's kind of what I stick with. And I think, as we all talk about using different things, I think that's what it comes down to. Find what you find to be successful and consistent that you can shoot comfortably and consistently with, and that's where it's important to land. But
Yeah. Broadheads, do you guys like fixed or mechanical?
I've shot both. I've never personally gone into the elk woods with a mechanical broadhead. I've always used fixed for elk, but the first time I used a mechanical was on my whitetail hunt in Kansas last year. And it got the job done.
Mhm.
But after inspection of my broadhead, after the arrow went into the deer, for some reason, it has 3 blades that are expandable when it impacts, not on release of the bow, but on impact.
Mhm.
And 2 of the blades didn't deploy. I mean, luckily it still killed the deer, but I was kind of shocked that that broadhead didn't deploy all 3 blades. But that was the Reaper, one of the Reaper series. I think it was the Whitetail Special.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as fixed blades go, my go-to is the Reaper Micro Hades. That's my favorite 100 grain broadhead. I love that thing. That thing flies pretty true as far as not a lot of tuning necessary
Nice.
for getting it tuned up for hunting season.
That is good to know. Taylor, what about you?
so I've been shooting Magnus Stingers,
Mhm.
fixed blade.
Fixed
So,
blade.
it's a fixed blade with a bleeder. I find that I like them because they sharpen easy, they tune easy. Personally, I'm not a big mechanical guy. I think that in any system, I'm one of those guys, in any system, the more moving parts you have, the more chance you have for something to go wrong. And I like to mitigate every bit of that I can. I do see the appeal to mechanical. If you're shooting field tips all year long and you're one of those guys that, is working 60, 70, 80-hour weeks, and you've got your weekend to get out, you don't have a whole lot of time to tune your bow. I could see throwing mechanicals on, and that's what you've got. And if that's what you're comfortable with, more power to you. That's awesome. For me, I like to remove as many variables as possible. That's kind of why I land on fixed blade, that and the penetration that I get. I can't stress that enough. 'Cause I mean, Skeeter, you've seen it, those arrows. I've blown through a quarter to, front shoulder through the last rib, through the
Yeah,
lungs,
that deer
and
you shot.
still jacked up my arrow just to
Mm-hmm.
clean through, which is great. Great for blood trail. It's kind of the ideal situation is, you get an entrance and an exit wound to just to be able to trail. But
That were you using that same setup when you shot that deer in Colorado,
I
or
was
was that a different?
actually no. Nope, that back then I was using Maxima Red SDs for my arrows, and I was using Slick Trick broadheads. I've gone away from the Slick Trick broadheads because those broadheads you have to put them together. It's nice because you can change the blades out easily, but I went toward the Magnus just because it's a setup that I don't have to mess with as much. Again, variables.
Okay, yeah,
But
because that blood trail was
that
pretty
was
easy
great.
to follow. Yeah,
Yeah, yes, it was.
yeah, yeah. That deer bled quite a bit.
Yep.
Sweet. Bow setup. Should we get into that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Case, what is your go-to bow setup right now?
So I've always been a Matthews fan. When I started, the first bow I ever got when I started as a kid, I got from one of my uncles, my stepdad's brother, and it was an old Bear Archery with felt glued all over it, and just a super heavy bow, super cool. But that was my intro to the bow world. As an adult, when I really got into archery hunting, I bought a PSE and loved it. It was a light bow. I was able to get it working well for me. Harvested quite a few deer with it. Um, but I've got a local shop here that sells Matthews, and once I was able to save up and kind of wheel and deal myself into a Matthews bow, I've kind of stuck with it. Just I like the consistency, the stability. Um, but, I run that. I think a good drop away rest. I've shot through Whisker Biscuits. I don't really care for them. A good drop away rest. I use a ripcord. And let's see, I like a multiple pin sight. I run a 5-pin spot hog, just because I don't like to have to mess with a slider in the field. Again, variables. I like to get rid of as much as I can. Um, Having seen where the variables cause me error and mistake. Um, yeah, just a good drop away rest, a good multiple pin sight, good bow that you're comfortable with and can shoot consistently. Practice with what you've got, practice with how you play. I like to restring my bow a month or two before the season. So, and usually not every year, usually I'll do it like every other year. But I like to get, if I'm noticing my strings are worn, I like to throw new strings on, but far enough in advance that I still have time to make sure my bow is honed and tuned well for the season. But that's kind of where I land. Yeah.
Skeeter?
I myself am also a Matthews guy. I remember my very first bow that I ever bought as an adult was a diamond bow. It was from Sportsman's Warehouse. Super simple, basic setup. Had a fixed pin, 3-pin sight on it, and I walked the woods with that thing for 4 years. Absolutely loved it. And then I had the opportunity where my dad had a friend who was getting rid of an older bow, and he asked me if I wanted it, and it was a Matthews solo cam, and that was my first Matthews bow, and I absolutely loved that thing. It was amazing. So that's where kind of my love for Matthews began, and from there, I currently now have the Matthews V3X, which is amazing bow. It's super light and pretty quiet when you shoot it. It's pretty quiet. Balance is super good. I shoot unfortunately the Matthews system uses the bridge lock system, so you're pretty limited as far as accessories go.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a Matthews fixed 5-pin for my sight. Absolutely love that. I have a Matthews drop away rest that I use, and my quiver is super cool because you can take the quiver on and off pretty quick and easy. And then my stabilizer is just a Matthews standard stabilizer, and the setup is it's pretty good for what I do. I'm by no means a professional, archer. I'm not out shooting and trying to shoot in the Olympics or anything, but I can group pretty well with it.
Just simple, utilitarian. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of,
hmm
yeah, where I land as well. And
And
I definitely like my bow was pre-bridge lock. So I have a VXR. I think it was one of the last iterations of the Matthew bow before they moved to the bridge lock. For those of you that don't know, that's Essentially, all of the accessories that you add to your bow, your sight, things like that are integrated. The mounting is integrated into the center of the bow riser. So it's supposed to cut weight, and it's supposed to keep everything kind of centered level wise. It's supposed to help with that. But that's kind of what they do now. Um, Morgan, we're looks like we're getting you into the Matthews world here in the next week or so as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
Be
because I used to
pretty
shoot Hoyt.
stoked. Okay.
Yeah, so I shot Hoyt my entire life. Started out as a kid shooting a Hoyt Rintech. My dad bought it for me for Christmas. It's an older bow. It was actually when I got it, I was probably 10, and it was a 10-year-old bow. So like early 2000s it came out. I shot that until I was probably 14, 15, and I finally grew out of it. And my dad gave me his old Hoyt. Um, and that was an awesome bow. I still shoot it right now, but it's pretty heavy. I was carrying it around the Elkwoods this year, and I was like, wow, this is a heavy, heavy bow. Um, and when I went hunting with Case and Skeeter, they had me hold their bows a few different times as we were getting things situated, and I was like, wow, this is like half the weight of my bow. This is so nice to carry around. And then I mentioned to Skeeter one day that I was looking to get a new bow, and he asked me, "Hey, do you care if it's a Matthews?" And I was like, I'd give it a shot. So Case knew someone that was selling a bow, and we got the transaction taken care of, and we're gonna get it all ready to rock and roll. So super excited.
Not even just a bow, it's a Matthews Triax. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a sweet bow. They're good bows.
I'm
Fast
excited.
shooting. I think it's a 28-inch axle to axle. I think
Sweet.
it was a 28 or 29, I can't
I
remember
think
what
it's
they did that
28.
year.
It's
Yeah,
28.
should be awesome.
Sweet.
Should
I'm
be
excited.
perfect.
I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what's
Nope.
all on it,
You're gonna open
but
that box and it's gonna be one of those old school like kids' toys from the
yeah.
90s, you know,
Yeah.
little suction
Says
cup
Matthews
arrows.
in marker.
Yeah. We'll write Matthews on it with Sharpie.
No, I think it's got a ripcord drop away. It should have a 5-pin spot hog on it, and Matthews quiver. So
Sweet.
should be set up.
Sweet. I'm
Yeah.
excited. We'll get it here. We'll get it all tuned up for me, and I'll start shooting with it. Start practicing, getting ready for this year. Throw some different arrow combinations on it
Yeah.
throughout the year and see where I like to shoot off of the best. So,
Bright pink bowstrings, and you're
Heck
off and
yeah.
running.
hey, don't be surprised.
Yeah.
Some silver tassels.
One of the things that I'm trying to not get wrapped around too much is, these bow companies releasing a new model every single year. And it's tempting, right? Because you're like, oh man, Matthews came out with a new bow. I got to go check it out. And we all know that bows are not cheap. They're a lot of money when it comes to the setup. But if you like your bow, just stick with it. If it still works, keep using it. I'd rather use that money that would have gone to a new bow for tags, boots, binoculars, bino harness, whatever it is. I'd rather have that money go towards something that's going to keep me in the field and keep hunting. So
Absolutely, just not getting so caught up in the consumerism of it.
yeah,
I mean, everything in our world right now is consumeristic. Buy this, buy this, buy this. You can't do this unless you buy this. And your whatever's outdated, you better buy a new one. It can be exhausting. And you don't have to. I mean, our grandparents were out there, and I still know a lot of guys that hunt with flat bows and recurves, just trad bows. And that's awesome. Point being, you don't need the newest, fanciest stuff to get out and have fun and breathe fresh air and chase animals.
And Matthews are well made.
Yep.
They'll last you. You take care of it, they'll last you a long time. And the
it was really
is
cool
pretty
seeing you
good,
carry that solo cam there for a while too, because I can remember being a little kid reading, Field and Stream magazine and reading about the Matthews solo cam. Like, man, that's a bow.
Yeah, I carried that thing for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty cool.
And the craftsmanship on it was amazing. That the handle was made of wood and it had Matthews carved into it, all nice and pretty. Like it was a beautiful bow. It hurt me to sell it, but I sold it.
Okay. Got to do what you got to do. So we've gone through bows, we've gone through arrows, so we've got the stick and the string dealt with. Releases. I've got my opinions on this as releases for hunting. I mean, and again, it all comes down to preference, but I still just, as old school as I can be, I prefer a good wrist release. Just strap it on. It's always there. It's easy to hold back. I don't have to think as much through what I'm doing. And again, just practice and consistency. But I shoot a true fire wrist release. I was a true ball guy for a long time, and I kind of found myself making the switch. I didn't like the true ball setup is just on a string. It doesn't really have a hard rod that goes from the wrist to the release, or the release to the clamp itself. It's just a string tied to your wrist release and then a smaller clip. And with the true fire, I guess I like having that stability. It's not so wobbly, but I don't know. What are your guys' opinions? Thumb releases and pressure release. Just what do you think?
Yeah, that's a great question. Right now, I've always stuck with the wrist release. Like you're saying, it's super simple. There's not a lot to it. And it's treated me right. I don't want to switch. I mean, I've been watching TikTok videos, YouTube videos on pressure releases, thumb releases, and just listening to the guys talk about them. I'm like, there is so much going on with this release.
And they're way more expensive.
Way more expensive.
Way more expensive.
You could go get a nice wrist release for 70, 80 bucks, if like 40 to like 80 bucks, right?
Yeah.
You're getting a thumb release, you're minimum 120 bucks.
Yep.
So it's a lot of money. So
I feel like I'd lose it.
I would definitely lose it. I saw this video on TikTok of a guy. He 3D printed a little holder for his thumb release on his bow, and it had this little clip that would hold it on. And I was like, and he's like, look how easy it is to open. I'm like, I'd be walking through the brush, snag it. There goes my release.
And then a 380 bull walks out.
Exactly. And you're like, well, don't have my release on me. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna stick with the classic wrist release.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. That's what I use, the True Fire wrist release, and I know guys that use thumb releases and they love them. They swear by them, and if that's what works for you, keep doing it. But for me, it comes down to I don't want to take the time to relearn muscle memory going from, because I have my whole process pretty much nailed down, and I don't want to have to try to relearn something. And as far as the thumb release goes, and it's good too that we all three shoot wrist releases because we hunt together. Because I remember a time back this September, Taylor, when you left your release back at the trailer, and I was like, "Oh, dude, here, take mine."
Yeah.
And he took my release, and because it's the same thing. If I handed him a thumb release, he'd probably be like,
this isn't gonna
okay,
work.
I guess I'll try it, And then the losing it in the field aspect, I would 100% lose it. I know people keep them in the back pocket of their vinyl harness, and that's great. But we all know in the country that we're hunting in, you're constantly tripping over deadfall, sliding down mountains. That wrist release is always on my wrist, and I can always keep accountability on it because my hand can physically touch it, and I know it's there.
Well,
I'm not going to reach for my thumb release.
If it's not attached to you, I mean, releases are going flying, pistols are flying across the mountain. You're just sucking wind up a hill. I don't.
Yep. Yeah. So I like knowing that it's there. I constantly, maybe it's a nervous tick of mine, but I keep it in the palm of my hand, my index finger on the trigger, and I'll just sit there and play with it.
Yeah, it's a fidget toy for me.
Yeah.
I like to slap it in the palm of my hand.
Yeah, that too.
Yep. Then you just know it's there. You're not gonna lose it. Another thing, wrist release. Do you guys like the Velcro or do you like the buckle?
Buckle. Velcro's too loud.
I agree. I'm a buckle guy.
And Velcro wears out. Buckle all the way. But again, if it works for you, if you're comfortable and confident and consistent with it, rock it out.
Yeah.
I think I need to buy a new one this year. I think my spring is wearing out because I've had that thing for a long time.
Well, and you can get oil too. You can hop on. I was on Amazon for like $2. I got a little bottle. They called it archery oil, but it's just a scent-free lube. But I've been lubing all my crap. Like I've been lubing bolt and moving connection points on my bow, on my release, and it seems to make my release a lot smoother.
Really?
Might be a thought.
Yeah, have to check that out. I just worry sometimes,
Yeah.
when I'm drawing that thing back, that spring's gonna give out. It's gonna,
Yep.
bow go off on accident.
Yeah. No, I have a funny story about that. I was in my side yard with my mom one day when I was a little kid shooting my bow. And my mom goes, "Yo, I want to try." She's pulling back the bow. And I was like, "All right, mom, keep your finger away from the trigger, okay? Keep it behind until you're ready to shoot." Some reason she's mid-pull and that arrow goes sailing. To this day, we don't know where the arrow is. Could be in someone's roof, could be in a dog, cat, squirrel. We don't know. And it was so funny.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
No, Skeeter, I know you have. But Morgan, have you seen Happy Gilmore?
Of course I've seen Happy Gilmore.
Somewhere there's a big old dude, instead of a nail, there's a big old dude walking around with an arrow sticking out of his head.
He's probably gonna show up to the expo.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this
Yep.
was your mom 10 years ago.
That's funny.
Nail comes out next week.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks great.
Oh.
All right, so I think the biggest takeaway, again, I can't stress it enough, is just find what you like, what works for you, and practice with it. I think the biggest thing, all the gear in the world is not going to give you what practice can. We used to say this when we were in the Army. Most people don't need a $2,000 gun. They need a $500 gun and $1,500 worth of training, right? Same thing in the bow world. None of us need to spend $3,000 on a bow setup. But man, we can use all the training we can get. And if you can get if you can set up a Matthews for $3,500, a new Hoyt, whatever, awesome. But it's not necessary. Man, I had a full setup, a PSC that I bought brand new. It was a 2018 or 2017 Bow Madness. It was like $750 at Cabela's, completely set up. And I hunted the heck out of that bow and loved it. Like, you don't need top tier stuff, but you do need a top tier mindset in practice.
Yeah, and don't worry about the stigma that comes with each brand. People like to poke fun at stuff, and who cares?
Yep.
If you like it, you like it. Just do it.
Yep.
You have Bowtech, you have Diamond Bear, PSE, Hoyt, Matthews, whatever you want to do it. Don't let anybody stop you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Morgan.
Yeah. Sorry. So I want to finish with some funnies. I need to go.
Yeah, obviously, the best thing that comes from hunting, other than putting food on our table, is the memories that long outlast a trophy, meat in the freezer. The stories live with us forever, and we tell them and pass them down, and we love to tell them. That's our favorite thing to do, because we love to. I know Taylor and we call each other all the time, and I will literally be driving in my truck, and I just get an ab workout from how much we laugh, and my cheeks hurt, because it's just that's one of my favorite things to do, is talk about things that we've experienced in the woods. So, Taylor, why don't we start with you, bud?
So obviously, after some time, we've got stacks and stacks of these stories, but Skeeter led me to one that he thinks we should share. So this was my second year archery hunting, and first time solo hunting. I had 6 or 7 days by myself, and it was rainy most of those days, so I had enough time to get a little wiry haired, a little crazy, if you will, a little crazy mountain man, doing it the first time, and just kind of hold up in the rain. So this particular day, I had spent hiking all day. It was probably 15, 16 miles at this point. And I'm working myself back out. It's getting to where it's almost dusk. I'm working myself back out of the woods and to start heading back toward my camp. And as I'm coming down into this last ravine at almost last light, still shooting light, I see a bull elk. I've been cow calling my way through, which blew my mind because I went through I think I've taken you up above that area,
Mm-hmm.
and it is some of the thickest, densest, loudest crap to get through on top. And then it works down into a good feed area in this drainage. So I was working through that, and I was, kind of cow calling here and there, just whatever, covering my noise. Mainly, second year, not really knowing what I'm doing, but just thinking I'm doing at least something, right? Well, I come over, crest over, and look down at this ravine, and there's a bull, 50 yards, perfect broadside, feeding, doesn't see me. And I am so excited. I'm like, it's all coming down. I got this, right? So, and we're, it's a steep hill, so I'm probably 45 degrees, if not a little steeper, shooting down at this bull. I shoot an arrow at him, right over him. Crap. Throw another arrow on, shoot it, right over him. Crap. I think, and at that time he kind of popped up, he moved a little bit, and I couldn't quite get a third arrow on before I could shoot him. It's like, well, I blew it. Better go get my arrows. So I start creeping down this ridge down to the bottom of the ravine, and I look to my right. And this time, in line with me is another good bull at like 40 yards. And that bull I proceed to shoot the rest of my quiver at and miss every time. Every single one. So, as you can imagine, I'm pretty pissed off at myself at this point. I start going. I found 2 of my 5 arrows that were in my quiver and start working myself out. And earlier in the day, by this time, it's pitch black. And I wasn't shooting lighted knocks that year. This time it's pitch black. I get to the other side of the ravine. I start hiking up and out. And it's thick and it's dark. And I don't have a headlamp. And I thought to myself, I saw a lot of bear sign today. A lot of bear sign I saw that day. I was like, it's already dark. I already scared off all the elk. So I'm going to make some people noise. So I don't run into a bear, start making some noise because I don't want to jump a bear in the dark in this thick crap. So the only thing that could come to my mind was boo whoop. So I get to the other side of this ridge and I'm like, whatever, that was still an awesome experience. And I'm all excited and I lean back and I go, boo whoop. Echoes through this drainage. And the second I did that, the entire hillside that I just hiked down erupted. I mean, it was a stamp. There were like 40 head on that hillside that I walked through, just cow called my way through and just shooting at these bulls. And they didn't make a lot of noise, but they kind of worked off. And there was a bunch of bedded elk still there. Just flew out of there. And like, well, I don't think there's any bears anywhere close now. I think we're good. Ended that night going back to camp, thinking to myself, I ain't got no business being out here shooting arrows at elk. I got no business doing none of this when I can't hit a dang thing. I had 2 chances. I'm going to be horrible forever. Never going to do this again. This is dumb. And then it occurred to me. Also, I shot my bow. My sight was way off, way, way off. And it occurred to me earlier, like 3 days before, I was hiking and I dropped my bow and didn't think twice about it. Didn't think twice about going to camp and checking my sight. My sight was way off. Just that drop, that impact was enough on that PSC was enough to move that sight. Might have made the difference. But yeah, the boo whoop is the bit of a funny part. So it's kind of a running joke anymore. We'll be in Grizz country. It's like, dude, just give him a boo whoop. You're good to go. So.
Or every morning we open the trailer door.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, I give him a boo whoop. Or we'll go,
Yep.
hey bear. That's where the hey bear thing.
The hey bear.
Yeah. So
That's pretty funny.
golly,
That's
I haven't thought
awesome.
about that in a while.
But you learned from it, right?
Oh yeah,
He
We
very
check-
religiously is checking his bow equipment at camp.
through the season.
Yes.
And remember, I told you we better before we hike up. As soon as
Mhm.
after travel, we're checking the bows. And you made adjustments.
I had to.
I made adjustments. Yeah.
And I'm so glad we made the decision to do that.
Yep. It's important.
Mm-hmm.
So, or, if you have a hard day where you're slipping and falling and do a bunch of crap, you probably should check your bow.
And you're starting to get pissed.
Oh, yeah.
you might want to check.
Yeah.
Probably should check the bow.
Check the bow.
That'll happen when you're looking all over the place for people and it's getting dark and you're tripping over and you're tripping over deadfall in the middle of aspens that are stacked up as tight as blades of grass. That'll happen. You'll get pissed.
Yeah. I wonder whose idea it was to go through that. Instead of, walk
just gonna go straight.
that next time we went up there, I'm like, oh, we could have just walked right around that whole thing. Yep. And we did.
But
we did.
It was too dark to tell.
It was great.
Too dark to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Skeeter, we all look at Skeeter and he goes, we're going through it.
Listen, okay. The Quakies were the least of my worries. I was trying to find Porter, make sure
he had flipped the switch into this is just a straight line. This is where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk me out of it.
Yep. I had my mind made up.
All right, Morgan, what do you got?
Hey, this was the first deer I ever killed. It's a pretty funny story. We're down on the boulder. It's the muzzleloader hunt. It's me, my dad, my step siblings. What?
On the boulder?
On the boulder.
I
Yeah.
don't know how he gets so lucky.
It was a muzzleloader tag.
Still.
Okay. And so it's me, my dad, my step siblings, my uncle, and all of his kids. So like all my cousins. We're all driving up. We're on our ATVs. And our goal is there's some ponds at the top that we like to fish.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have all of our fishing gear with us. And then we just hunt on our way up. We'll fish the afternoon and then we'll hunt on our way down. And we're a couple turns in and I told my dad, I won't shoot anything if it's smaller than a 3-point. And he looks at me and goes, there's a little buck over there. Pretty sure it has 3 points. It's my first year. I don't really care. So muzzleloader, absolutely kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Drop the deer, we process it, and then my dad looks at me, do you have your tag? I said, I thought you had it.
Oh no.
He goes, he's like, okay, maybe it's in one of our bags. So we're like looking, and he goes, oh, I think I left that in the truck. So we got a plastic bag and dipped our finger in the blood and went, go get tag. Put it on the deer, jumped on the four-wheeler, drove down the road, grabbed the tag, came back.
Go get tag.
Go get tag.
Pepto-Bismol and tag check.
Yeah.
For this one.
Old green pants is go get tag. I don't need a tag for this dead deer. What are you talking about? Go get tag.
What are you talking about? You have an archery elk tag in your pocket? What do you mean? Archery permit.
Do you have I see you've got all your licensing.
Isn't that what this is?
Now I'm not thinking trouble, boys.
As he pulls out his ticket book.
Like,
yeah, I'm not thinking trouble, but
just a little heads up for you boys. If I'm ever hunting with you, you better have everything. Because the fishing game love me. Every time I'm hunting, I'm always checked. Riding side by sides, I will be checked. It does not matter what I'm doing. I will find them.
All right.
Or they will find me. It's one of the two. But
It's good to know.
You got a cute face. That's all.
Yeah, that's really all it is. They see the golden hair and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
I got to say
They're
got a stick slicker over here.
Yeah.
Wonder if he's got it.
Running around in candy vans. Like, there's one.
Yeah. That's a pretty funny story.
Yeah.
That is funny.
But your first year, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Go get tag.
Did you take a bite of the heart?
No.
Have you ever taken a bite of the heart?
No.
Okay.
You will this year.
You will this year.
You don't necessarily.
You don't have to eat it.
You don't have to. You don't even have to take a bite raw. Just let's cook it up at camp. You got to eat the heart. Fry it up at camp. You got to eat the heart.
I don't know, because I went to Tucanos. I had a chicken heart. Oh no. I almost threw up on that table.
Really?
That was the worst tasting thing I've ever had. Chicken heart.
You can't be weak your whole life, Morgan.
I'm gonna be weak on that. there's something I get to choose to be weak on, it is that.
Yeah, I guess.
I'll tell you what, it'll treat your guts better than a 2 pound of butter breakfast in a mountain house.
Probably right. It'll come up the other end.
Oh, good grief. Soft. This kid's 10 ply, bud.
Yeah.
Super soft. All right, Skeeter, what do you got?
Oh man.
Finish us out.
Okay. So
Lay it out for us.
let me set the stage for you. Okay. The year was 2024, and I have a tendency of having some pretty bad luck. Okay. And I was leaving Salt Lake City on a Thursday afternoon to go to Colorado to help Case, to spend some time with him, have a good time. He had an elk tag. So on my way there, I'm driving. My truck, I have a brand new truck at this point. Beautiful. I love it. I'm driving right behind a semi. Semi kicks up a rock, and I wasn't even like riding his tail or anything. Hits me dead center in my windshield. Cracks from the windshield, the middle of the windshield, all the way down to the passenger corner. I'm like, great. That's just awesome. I'm like, whatever. Didn't think anything of it. Then that semi comes to a screeching halt. I'm like, oh, what the crap? And I'm stuck in a canyon in probably 6 miles of traffic that's not moving because UDOT decided to repave the canyon road, of course, on the day that I'm trying to get through it to go to Colorado. Spent 2 hours not moving. So I'm like, great, this is awesome. I called Taylor to let him know I was going to be a little bit later than I planned on. He's like, that's no problem. He's going to go get some dinner with his dad. So finally, I get through that. And no more than 2 miles past the spot that I was stuck in, I hit another traffic jam because the sheriffs are doing a warrant and DUI and contraband checkpoint. And they're letting cars go and they're picking random cars to pull over. And of course, I'm one that gets flagged down to pull over. And my truck is packed. The back seat, you can't sit in it. It's packed plumb full with hunting gear, coolers, everything. My front seat's packed. Looks a little suspicious. And this female cop comes to my window. I roll my window down. She looks at me kind of funny. She goes, "Do you have any weapons in the car?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am, I sure do." She goes, "Well, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm going hunting with a buddy of mine." She goes, She goes, "Let me see your license and registration." So I hand her my license and registration. And then she comes back to the window and she goes, "Oh, you're good to go." And she's like, "Is that a cooler I see in the back seat?" I say, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "Is there alcohol in it?" I said, "No, ma'am." And she's like, "Well, I need to check it." I'm like, "You need to check it? That cooler is at the bottom of this mountain of hunting gear." Sure enough, she makes me get out of my truck, pull all my gear out of my truck just to open my cooler that is full with Big K sodas and water. And she goes, "Okay, you're good to go." I'm like, "You're not even going to help me put my crap back in my truck?" She's like, "Nope, I got to keep checking vehicles." I'm like, "All right, well, you have a good day. Thank you so much." So then I get going and I finally make it to Colorado pretty late at night. We get up on the mountain I don't know, it's probably 11 o'clock. And then the first morning we wake up to go out to go hunting, we get a boulder respawn. Taylor and I are by ourselves and we get a boulder respawn. So we drop off this ridge down in this deep, dark drainage, and we chase him probably till about, it was probably 10 o'clock in the morning, maybe a little earlier than that. And we stop at the bottom to have a snack and take a break. And we're sitting down talking, and all of a sudden I look up and there's this gentleman, older guy, walking towards us from the opposite ridge down to the bottom. And he's got a golf club in one hand. He's wearing blue jeans and a torn up jacket. And he's got a pack that looks like it was picked up off the side of the road. It's all torn up.
Crooked.
Yeah, crooked. It's all crooked on the side of his back. And he's got a muzzleloader in his hand. And he's moving towards us. I'm telling you the truth. This man's footsteps didn't make a noise. The grass at his legs never moved. He was just there. And we're like, whoa. And he goes, "If I would have known that was you two bugling down here, I would have shot that grouse up on that mountain." We're like, "Oh, we're sorry." And like super upset because we called him into us. Our calling called him into us, and he held off on shooting a grouse because he thought there was elk down at the bottom of this drainage. So you're like, where'd you guys come from? We're like, oh, we came from that road over there. And he's like, oh, I know exactly where that's at. And we're like, okay. And we're like, well, which direction are you going? So we can go the opposite direction. He goes, I'm going to go back up to the top. And I kind of look down at Case and we kind of talk for a second. I turn around. We both turn around. He's gone. We have no idea where he went. We're like, me and Case both look at each other. We're like, did that just happen? Was that real? Or did we just imagine that whole thing? And to this day, we have no idea. That guy looked like he'd spent his whole life on the mountain. So the running joke is, if you run into a guy with a golf club and a muzzleloader, don't make any noises because you'll mess up his grouse hunt. So we go back to camp and we hunt the rest of the day after that, and then nothing happened. But we decided to go out at, I think it was midnight, maybe a little bit later, to go do some night bugling to try to locate some elk for the next day. And we go to the same spot where we saw that old man, just at the top, not at the bottom this time. And I'm bugling and we're not getting any response. And we're in a side by side. That's how we got to the our bugling point. Pitch black. And we're like, okay, there's nothing here. Let's go try a new spot. So we get back in the side by side. And as soon as I get in and I close the door, I look up through the windshield. I'm looking ahead. I'm like, Case, do you see that glinting from the moonlight? Does that look like a windshield to you? And he's looking, he's like, holy crap, that's a windshield. We're like, I didn't hear a truck roll up or see any lights, did you? He's like, no. I'm like, that's kind of weird. I was like, let's get out of here, dude. Like, like it's probably that old man with the golf club. So we turn the side by side on and we start driving. And as soon as we get in front of it, the headlights turn on. We're like, oh, this is how scary movies start. Right? And the truck's blocking the road. We can't get past him. I'm like, dude, you better just haul butt around him. But the truck ended up backing into the sagebrush, and he got out and talked to us. It wasn't the old man with the golf club. It was somebody else. So we had a good conversation with him, and then when we moved on, and Case is like, I know this other spot down the road that we can try to do some bugles off of. I'm like, oh, cool. And so the side by side isn't like a fully enclosed side by side. The door is maybe a quarter of the doorway, very, very small. So there's holes on the bottom and there's holes on the top. So we're driving and all of a sudden we run into this sheep camp. We see these sheep herders and a bunch of sheep, like talking hundreds. And we're having a good time. I'm talking to Case. Case is driving. What?
1 a.m.
Yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning. And Case is driving. He's got his hand on the steering wheel and he looks out to his left out the window. And then he just starts screaming and puts his foot on the gas, pedal to the metal, and we're hauling butt. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like hanging on to the side by side, trying not to roll out of it. And he's screaming. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, you didn't see that? I'm like, no. He's like, there was a big old dog that was trying to bite my face off. I'm like, I didn't see or hear anything. I'm like, what is going on this mountain today? Like something is going on. We are having some crazy hallucinations. So we get to where we're going and he stops and he turns the side by side off. And I'm like, dude, like, stop trying to scare me, man. He's like, no, dude, I'm telling you. I'm like, okay. And he goes to start the side by side again. Dead. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? It won't even crank. I'm like, this is it. We're gonna die. And I start freaking out. I'm like, get me out of here right now. I'm like, I don't even care about calling out. Get me out of here now. I was panicking. By some stroke of luck, the side by side started, and we're driving back to camp. And I kind of look at him, and I'm like, man, like, I'm not calling you a liar. Like, I believe that you believe you saw what you saw. I was like, but is there any chance that maybe you just, thought that it was a dog? And he's like, no, dude, I'm telling you. And as he's saying that, I look out my side of the side by side, and through the black, through the sagebrush, is this great Pyrenees dog galloping, and I'm talking like bigger than like bigger than any kind of the biggest wolf you can imagine, and snarling and runs up, almost sticks his face in the side by side, and I'm like, God!
And you're face to face.
Yeah, his face was right here. He was going to rip me apart. I was like, go, and he hammers it, and we get out of there, and we both get to camp. We don't say a word, and he stops the side by side, and we're just kind of both sitting side by side, like, what just happened? We didn't say a word. I'm like, I'm sorry, you were right. Yeah, those sheepdogs are no joke to mess with in the dark. Don't go around the sheep herd and expect to not get your end bit off, because those dogs are mean. So we always tell that story whenever we're together. It was a good time. It was a crazy day. So if you're out there and you ever run into an old man with a golf club, let me know, because it'd give me closure that it wasn't some kind of ghost or anything.
I feel like someday we're gonna run into him on some random mountain.
Yeah.
Like,
we joked about it in Idaho. We're like, if we see that old man, we know for sure.
Yeah. It's funny.
Mm.
Yeah, that sheepdog was the craziest thing. It was like, what a weird day altogether. Starting out with the old man, and then just the series of events, night bugling.
Yeah. But
Crazy.
a memorable day.
Yeah.
We didn't come within bow range of a single elk, but it's still one of my favorite day elk hunting.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite days.
Yep.
Just give all the laughs and the camaraderie and just everything that we experienced up on that mountain. It was a good time.
Yep. Well, what do you guys think? I think that we need to make more stories.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, agreed.
That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. The memories made with friends, things you can look back on and laugh and cry and all of the above. But
I mean, we have a pretty exciting year ahead of us, I'd say. We don't know how it's all gonna play out just yet, but
yeah, there's a chance we drop some pretty big bulls this year.
Yeah, let's pray it goes that way.
Yeah.
Pray and practice.
Yeah, it's
practice.
It'll be a good time. But for those of you who are listening, I encourage you to go to the Hunt Expo in February. It's a really good chance to just get around the hunting community. There's a lot of good vendors there that have some pretty good products. Mm-hmm. Really cool taxidermies. You can see the world record bull elk there. It's there every year. And a good chance to pick up some good gear at a discounted price. So highly recommend you go. I will be there. I'm going to be doing the elk calling contest this year, so I'm pretty excited for that. Try to get some content from that. I know Porter's coming, so if you guys would like to meet Porter, he will be there with me. But yeah,
I'll be there Friday.
You're going Friday?
I'm gonna go Friday.
Okay, well, I'll go with you Friday.
So I'll be there Friday.
Okay.
I'll probably be picking up a new backpack.
Okay.
At the expo. I need a new frame pack.
Have you decided?
I'm probably gonna go with the Everly stock.
Dude, it's a heck of a pack.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
They just dropped a new one too, a new frame pack this year. Yeah.
Oh, dang it.
I'll have to.
But I love that F1 mainframe. I love my Vapor Series pack.
Mm-hmm.
Go with the bigger pack.
Yeah.
Mine's the 2500. It's too small.
I've got the 50. I either have the 55 or the 75. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick up the 55 just for the spike camping and being out there. I didn't have enough room, so I'm gonna upgrade to the larger pack.
You can always use your compression straps to really sink it in, but then you have that room to expand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'll be picking up a new pack. If you want to see us there, maybe we'll do a TikTok live while we're there.
Do it.
So there's a lot of good stuff coming up this year. So stay tuned.
Full Draw
Film Fest is another awesome organization for the archery community. Every year they give archery hunters the chance to film their own hunts and be featured in a film festival, a traveling film festival. They're sponsored by Onyx Hunt and quite a few other vendors in the archery community. But man, every one of their events I've been to has been absolutely phenomenal. We'll be going to that this year. I'm gonna go check it out and see what people are up to and see the cool things, cool situations people are getting into this year. Good stuff.
And then tack.
Yep. And then this summer, we're gonna try to all get together for a total archery challenge shoot event. Um, get out to a ski resort and go hike around and shoot some 3D targets and talk a little smack and have a little fun. So
Yeah,
hopefully by then we can have the pink arrows made from Morgan and get his fishnet t-shirt and blue hair dealt with before we get out and go shoot a tack.
Heck yeah.
I agree. Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, September's not that far away, boys. We're
Nope.
closing in on it. So
Let's see. I have a countdown to September 1st. 227 days.
right.
There we go. That's 227 opportunities to get in a little bit better shape and 227 opportunities to shoot your bow, 227 opportunities to put some thought towards what you want to do and how you want to do it, and another 227 opportunities to pray and center yourself and think about why we're all really here.
Agreed.
So.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we will see you on the next episode. So stay tuned.